Hello and welcome back to Black Balance Fitness TV presents the Financial Fitness Forum interview with the boss. Allow me to introduce our special guest for tonight, an ambitious young athlete and entrepreneur from Team Carpe Diem in the Unity Hierarchy. Up and coming FA junior broker looking to quickly make a name for himself in the agency as one of 2021's newest director senior brokers, Mr. Matthew Hall. Welcome to the show, Matthew, and thank you for being here tonight.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, before we get started with the interview questions, I'd like to highlight your age if you don't mind. Tell the
Of course.
people how old you are and how you got started in the agency.
So I'm 21 years old, and the way I got started was at first I got approached I was getting prospected, and I was like, no, this isn't real. Like, I'm not going to join. And then the second time, one of my old coworkers, who actually got me into our CEO, Patrick McDavid, released Your Next Five Moves. And I asked him, hey, how was it? Because I knew that book was about self-journey and trying to figure out what to do next. And I was like, just out of curiosity, I was like, maybe he knows, maybe he's read it. And then we talked a little bit more, and soon enough, I ended up becoming a part of the agency, and that's how I got started.
Awesome, awesome. I really wanted to highlight your age because you're so young in the business, but you're very professional. I know that you're really making strides to hit your promotions and be a leader, really helping other people get to the next level.
Mhm.
And I know that you'll be a huge inspiration. Um, so, just real quick, I also know that before we closed our Woodland Hills office, you got a chance to sort of work kind of closely with the SVP. Tell us a little bit what it's like working with a senior vice president and being in a real office as such a young entrepreneur.
It was definitely different. Like I said, I worked with In and Out, so I wasn't around that type of energy. Our senior vice president in the company, he's known for Mr. Energy, so he brings it. It's like, let's go, let's go, like we're running through brick walls right now. And to be around that environment, it was very contagious, and it made me want to elevate mine, because I would be coming into the office in the very beginning, and it was like, oh, my energy's down here. It's like, let's go team, but he's all the way up here. It's like, let's go. And he's like, come on guys, like, what goals we have today, let's go accomplish them. Like, let's go recruit the world. And the thing was, it was so contagious because the level of belief, and like, you can tell it was there. Like, he did wholeheartedly. And I was like, wow. I was like, this is different, but it's like, it's something I can get used to, because I see myself doing the same thing. I like bringing the energy and just motivating, like, let's go team. It's like, he wants to help me win, even if I had the most energy. But it was just to see him and Miss Christy Terrace as well. It's just that dynamic duo was, I don't know, it's so special. Like, every time I saw them in the room together, or even when they were doing separate parts, like Fred would do his training or Christy would do hers, they're opposite, but they complement each other so well. And it was just like, wow. So I loved it. Before the office closed, it was just to be around the environment and to see their types of energy, and knowing that they were in a position like I was. I came from the restaurant, but Fred came from the bartending, and it was just like, he put his time in, and it's like, it's knowing that if you do the same and you put the amount of effort and work ethic and belief into it, you can get there as well. So it was amazing.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I love having that insight, man, and I'm sure everyone else does too. And I love what you said about seeing a new energy, being in a different environment, a different type of energy, especially one that really elevates you. It makes you want to elevate other people. Man, it's awesome. So let's get into these questions. I'm so excited. So tell us, Matthew, what is your method for pinpointing areas in need of improvement within your business strategy?
Personally, I not try making it as a rhythm, but I try being natural with it. And if I feel like there's a little hesitation, it's like, okay, why was there hesitation? Was it a certain amount of belief into it? Was it uh, confident? And more of, was it like a flow state? Like I wasn't forcing anything. I wasn't trying to like look seem smart or seem like I'm too professional. It was just like I try to be me. And if I feel like anything outside of that, it's like, okay, why is that? And try getting to the pinpoint of what that feeling was. For instance, it's like sometimes during an interview, I might say a couple things and it goes according to plan. But as I look back on it, I was like, oof, I could have said this just because I like not making perfect, but I like getting a flow state, like I said. And if I feel like anything might be a little rigid from it, that's where I try.
Nice, nice, wonderful answer. I like that. Finding a natural rhythm in things, that's important. Because you don't want to come off too boxed, mechanical, or phony. So that's for sure. And then also, um, I love how you spoke about processing your hesitation. A lot of people
Mhm.
don't even notice, and so that's very insightful. Um, so tell us, describe for us your preferred style of leadership.
I love the honest truth. Like, here's the way it is. My grandpa was in the military. My dad was raised from that, so he gave us how he was raised. He's like, look, this is what it is, and either you take it or leave it. Um, Honesty, truthfulness. Uh, yes, strict, but it's like taking responsibility. It's like, look, you said you were going to do this, and if you're going to do it, man, like own up to it. And if you fail, own up to that because yes, you may have failed, but it's not failing, it's a lesson learned, knowing that you, where, like again, it's like where in the process could you have done a little bit more, or where could it have been a little bit more of a push to be able to accomplish the goals. So it's, yeah, honesty, truthfulness, and like raw, essentially.
Right, absolutely. I definitely can appreciate a leader that can be straightforward.
There
We
you go.
speak about that a lot, also, within the team, just about being direct with each other, even beyond leadership, whether that be, sidelines, downlines, whatever.
Hmm.
And I love that. I love that we're very direct and honest with each other, even when it's kind of a tough conversation to have, or when you got to call somebody out, is still the best way. And I also love that you mentioned, having discipline and being accountable. That's definitely important in leadership. So for sure.
Hmm.
I would say that's definitely a style I would prefer as well. I think everybody for sure can appreciate those aspects in a leader. So,
I agree.
um, for me, name the best ways to improve your leadership skill set.
I've always been an avid learner. I love learning new things, whether it's from books. There's always information out there for us to learn. It's just if you're willing to go out and seek it. And that comes to the point of what exactly do you want to learn about leadership? So whether it's about, I want to keep you more accountable. So it's like you research because we have like a whole computer in front of us. And it's like the amount of information we can get is very, not, I wouldn't say underutilized. It's just very under, like, there's just so much information out there. Like it's at a fingertip that we can access it. So it's just figuring out what do I need to develop it. Like I see it as a percentage, like how strong am I in certain areas and how can I bring that up higher, whether it's a 1%, 5%, whatever the case may be, and go out and see whether there's books, interviews, um, podcasts, anything that helps me learn to be able to gain that percentage to move up in the leadership style.
Nice, nice, absolutely. I do. I have a special, very special appreciation in my heart for people that are self-taught. I love that because I am an avid reader, and I love the idea of passing along knowledge through not just through word of mouth and writing and things like that, but through generations and family lines. And you know, so absolutely. I definitely love that you mentioned, just right off the bat, taking the time to seek that knowledge, and look for the new information. Like you said, we walk around with a computer in our hands all day, and
Mhm.
don't take the time to really pinpoint and look for the things that we need to upgrade ourselves. So yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely, for sure.
And that's the
Can
other
you
thing. It's
tell
like it's
us, Matthew?
oh,
Go
my
ahead.
apologies. It was just that's the other point. So like with the best
No,
part about
no, go
leadership,
ahead.
it's not just leadership, not attributes, but more of like the skills. It's, for instance, what does it take to be a leader? You need to have those communication skills. So it's like there's always something to be learned. For instance, I recently got this book by T.D. Jakes, Bishop T.D. Jakes, and it's Don't Drop the Mic. But it was more to that. It was about how to own up to your voice and how to communicate better and to be able to talk. Because at the end of the day, that's what a leader is. They talk, they help guide you to where you want to go, and they help you see things that you couldn't see yourself. So they have to figure out the language to be able to put that in for you to see it. And that's the other best part about being, or in my opinion, a leader. It's like you, everyone has something to learn. And then as a leader, you still have more to learn because you're going to have to figure out how to communicate this. You're going to figure out how you can try to tell someone to, the work ethic can be altered, but to the wording to tell them, hey, look, this is what you might need to do differently, because some people can hear it one way, but another can hear it another way. So it's just the communication is the other best part about it, is that the words you speak is also very powerful for us to be able to communicate for others to understand what we're saying.
For sure. Oh man. Woo, I knew this interview was gonna be, man, hot, hot, hot. I hope you guys are really loving this. So Matthew, let's keep going. Tell us, what steps do you take to plan and organize your daily workload?
So personally, I let me rephrase that. I start my days by waking up early, whether that's 4:30, 5 in the morning, and to start my day either meditating, praying, or getting a clear head before going into the day. It's I wake up and the first thing I want to do is show gratitude. It's like, look, I have air in my lungs, I have blood flowing, I can speak, I can taste, I can smell, I can move my arms, my legs, I can blink, I can see. It's the smallest details, but I feel like that's been able to help me show how much gratitude I've had. Because in life, it's like, yes, there are things where it's like, oh, I have a car, and it's like, oh, I don't have one, but I have a phone. And it's like, those things are good, but it's also, it's like, I find the greatest gratitude in the smallest things like that. Like I can hear, I can talk. Um, that's how I would start my day, and then from there, it's to all right. I go exercise before starting my day as well, and it's like, okay, what can I do today to move me closer to my goals and dreams, or is it something that I can accomplish? Because waking up at 4:30 and 5 is always hard. There are days where I just don't want to do it, but those are the times where those small wins help me get a big win rolling, becoming easier, rather than it's just, oh, I'm going after a big win. It's these small wins that will play into the bigger one. So that's how I start my day, to be able to go out and get the wins that I need to move me forward.
Wonderful. Yeah, I know that we talked about that before. One morning we kind of were, there was a handful of us that were early to a training, and we just all started good morning, and then we
Mm-hmm.
started talking about how we each start our day. And man, we all got a lot of insight. We learned a lot from each other, and
Yes.
it's awesome when you can really vibe with the people around you like that. And this is a system really that we see with a lot of successful people. You wake up early, you meditate and pray, you show gratitude for everything in your life, like you said, down to the smallest detail. Exercise, get moving, getting your body moving, get your mind moving, thinking forward, and getting momentum into your life and into the things that you want to build. And man, I love how you put that out there. I knew you would really sauce that question up. So that one was straight for the people. So let's say, how do you stay current on industry development?
As in the financial world, or as in just like everyday things that happen around us?
Um, I originally was asking about the financial world, but I like that you mentioned both. So why don't you just give us it all?
Okay. With the financial world, I go to the carriers, and like I said, I love to learn. And with me, I love like the small little facts. For instance, it's like National Life Group's been around since 1895. We help service, or National Life Group helped service people that were on Titanic, World War II. And it's just like small things like those is what I look for. But it's like the other information, it's like how I can be able to help others and just communicating it. And then with the real world, I try not to focus too much on it, just because personally, I feel like there's a lot of, they force more negativity than positivity. And I just get the greatest looks, figuring out what exactly is out there that I not need to know, but also what can I use to get an understanding of what's happening around me. And then the other part is watching podcast or listening to podcasts and watching interviews. Valuetainment's definitely a great source for me as well, to stay relevant as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I too have kind of really given up mainstream a lot. Like you said, it is a lot of negativity. It's a lot of kind of, it's a lot of kind of phony too. It's just a lot of like fluff.
Yeah.
And it can really be distracting if you let it. Absolutely. So it's important to focus on the positive, like you said, and finding useful information. For sure, like I said, I'm one who appreciates a self-taught, um, you know, professional. I listen to a lot of podcasts and interviews and things like that as well. And it's definitely a way to stay current and stay knowledgeable on what's trends and new developments are coming in.
Exactly.
For sure. One thing I mentioned too in my ABCs of entrepreneurship video too is like going to events and conventions and things like that too. Just as another way to kind of, find out what's new and different, different in the industry and different products and services like that, and who's the new people on the scene and and stuff like that too. So for sure, just throwing that one out there for the people. But yeah, absolutely. So tell us, what process would you use to break down technical terminology for new clientele?
I'm a technical person, so I have troubles with I have trouble with that at times. But it's just to be, like I said, communication is everything. But the best part about being a student of the business and figuring out what terminology means, it's just to be able to communicate it in their language, which is why being a listener is also very powerful. Not saying like you're gonna have to like dumb it down or anything, but it's just you're gonna have to communicate it to the words that they know. because being in this industry, there's a lot of big words, and honestly, it's like sometimes they are similar but yet different in different ways. So we just got to be able to, or me personally, communicate it to words that they do understand, so they can be able to understand it like how I understood it from the very beginning. Like discovering what certain words mean. It's just to reciprocate that to communicating with clients.
For sure. Absolutely. Me and Alyssa actually spoke on that a little bit as well too, on how, words can really affect communication,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the business world, because there's just so many different industries out there, and with our language, words that mean one thing in the financial
Mm-hmm.
industry can be something completely opposite in the science industry. So it's
Exactly.
important to kind of meet people where they're at. So
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, I totally understand that. And since when you're breaking down any type of terminology, especially getting into the technical parts, the moving parts of how things work with products and services, definitely have to, communication skills got to be strong. So, Matthew, name for us the top three traits of an excellent mentor.
Top three traits. Oof. Like I said, up front is definitely number one for me, just because I feel like that's just the best communication for myself. It's being raw and honest. Um, when I was little, I used to cuss a lot, but it wasn't cuss to cuss. It was cuss like to get my point across, and I felt like that just played a bit like a bigger role in me, because it defined the emphasis of like what it truly meant. Like you're like get your crap together. It's like, dude, this isn't something to play around with. It's like, as much as we want to take it easy, realistically, it's like it's not. So that language for me helps. Also being an example, because it's like, how are you going to tell me to do something when you haven't done it yourself? But the lastly I would say is trust, because without trust there isn't that bond. It's like again, the communication and the example is what also creates the trust, but trust also leads into, it's like, look, I'm guiding you because I know what's best, but also it's like we've had those conversations to guide you to the right direction, and it's for me to also trust them. It's like, look, I know what you're doing and you're doing it to best guide me, so I'm going to trust you that I'm taking your way. So trust, communication, proper communication, like the honest truth, and an example.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, I love that. And I love that you ended out with trust. Oh man, that's so huge. That's so important. Um, Trusting your mentor, your leadership is key. And
Mm-hmm.
as a mentor or leader, having the moral authority to say, hey, I did this. I'm leading by example. Hey, I'm doing it too. I fought through that too. Is important, because it leaves no room for excuses, and that leaves no room for failure. So,
Exactly.
um, absolutely. And I love that you mentioned, being strong and direct, even from a young age, for sure. And you can for sure see that in your personality. Absolutely. It's important though, and it's a wonderful trait to have. Um, to be strong and direct, and having honesty and integrity on top of that, and that'll
Mm-hmm.
make you unstoppable in this world. So for sure. Um, so we're getting almost to the end here. A few more questions left. Uh, so tell us, what are the best methods to monitor and measure your financial performance?
In all honesty, I'm not in a position to be doing that. But as I'm learning, um, and the funny part is, I said, sorry, I started In and Out when I was 16, and when I was 16, my parents both told me every paycheck that I get, 50% of it was to go to them, 25% was to go to the bank, savings, and the other 25% was personal. So what that taught me was that 50% is paying bills. whether you wanted to or not. Like regardless, it's coming out. And that other 25 was for savings. It's in the raining day. Like if any, like COVID happened, and that's where it comes into effect. Um, but I wasn't aware of that so young. So being able to do that now is just to restructure the percentage, but also to figure out what I'm spending and then what's coming in. So if I have a lot more expenses coming out, it's like I'm gonna have to cut things out because what I have coming in isn't matching it. So it's to be able to find what can I go out with, like what can I cut out, such as Netflix and Hulu, so to say. I'm okay with that. I would gladly pick up YouTube and go to Tom Bilyeu, Jay Shetty, Gary Vee, Valuetainment, Lewis Howes. Those were the top people I went to go watch when I didn't want to watch TV, because they were about personal development, finding yourself, to find alignment. So that's what I use. And it was trying to figure out different things like music. Yes, YouTube was there, but with Spotify, I was okay with the short ads, but I was still able to listen to music like house, or even like stuff to take my mind, like not words, able to focus, but still have music in the background to play. So it's just figuring out what am I okay cutting out, and what is it something that I do need to keep for the time being.
Okay. Absolutely. I think that that's everybody can learn from that. Um, when it comes to, like, looking at your personal financial performance, where you're at and where you want to go. Absolutely, like you said, always seeking knowledge about those things and how to get aligned. Tracking your spending habits for sure. Anybody will tell you that, man. Make a budget and absolutely diversifying and knowing, where your money's going, where you want it to go, and how to invest properly.
Exactly.
And absolutely, being in the agency now, we're learning about building a financial foundation and things like that. And so, absolutely, man. Just learning and sharing that knowledge as we go.
Exactly.
But absolutely, I think those are good methods to monitor and measure your financial performance. So, tell us your method for boosting team morale. I know that we often work in like a team setting, both with building our independent businesses and with working towards our goals as a company and as a hierarchy. But like you said, this is real life. Things happen and people get stressed out, people get overwhelmed, and how do you what do you think is the best method for keeping that energy up?
Honestly, it's like I said, with the way I seek my mentor, it's truth, honesty, and an example. So with that, it's like to be able to tell my team, look, I'm not saying I know to the exact pinpoint, I know what you're going through, but the feeling of like unsatisfiedment, doubt, fear, like I know an example of what that is, and I can tell you what I got through it, or how I got through it, but I can't tell you exactly how you can get through this situation that you're going through, because everyone has their own life, everyone has their own story. We're not going to have the same challenges and tribulations, but we are going to have the same story of, look, I overcome fear, I overcame doubt, self, like unconfidence. Like I can only preach about that, and it's to be like, hey, we got this. It's like I pull myself out of that position of self-doubt, not feeling confident, don't think I'm worthy, but I pull myself out of it. And if I did it with a strong mindset, you can do the same. It's like, I'm going to keep feeding it to you. You're victorious, you're strong, you're capable, you're worthy, you find joy. It's like And that's the other part about gratitude. It's like, even if the times like we're going through, it's hard, finding the gratitude for the things we do have make our problems seem so much smaller, because at the end of the day, it's the box that we're in and it's the view we see. And I'm not saying like I'm perfect, I don't have a box, but I feel like I just broke my box. And but that's, I had to take a lot to do that. Like, there was months ago I thought I broke it, but I'm still breaking it. It's not fully shattered. Like, I can see over a wall, but that doesn't mean it's broken down. And once I break that, as I'm going to keep growing, something's going to pop up. So it's just that affirmation of, we are victorious. We're here as a team. We're gonna help pull each other up when we need to, but we're all gonna keep moving forward. And I feel like our SVPs are very great for doing that. Like, they're always, yes, he's Mr. Energy, but at the end of the day, it's like, he tells us he had it rough, but he's not using that as an excuse. He's using it like, look, I'm using it as my story. Like, I came out of this, so there shouldn't be a reason why you shouldn't come out of your situation. And that's why I respect him and Christy so much more, because they're not using it as an excuse. They're using it as a victory story. Like, I overcame this and I'm going to overcome more, and nothing's going to stop me, because that was a stepping stone to where I'm going.
Absolutely. Man, that's wonderful. Absolutely. I love how you worded that, and it's important to show yourself and see yourself and tell your story as the victor, as the one who got the victory, not the victim. Like, yeah, I've been in those places too, fear, doubt, anger, frustration, all of that. We've seen those hard times, regardless of the details, and to, be like, I'm not there though. I'm not there now. It's not still happening. I pushed through it. I kept going. I showed up no matter what. And then also, like you said, to have people pouring into you, to be able to pour into someone else and tell them, yeah, you can make it, you can do it, and even using your own story as an example. Absolutely. Man, the value that everyone could get from this interview. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Man, Matthew, you really came and filled it. So, man, I don't even know what to say. I'm elated. Like, I'm at a loss for words. So tell us, Matthew. I'm sure everybody is gonna want to know, what advice or expectation would you give to a viewer who is looking to join your team?
Expectations definitely, I wouldn't say hard, but it's just hard. It's like, I don't know, expectations, it's like a iffy word with me. But advice, I can definitely, I don't know why, I don't know. But with advice, it's, one of my affirmations is, I want to win for me, but I also want to win, I want to win for my family, but I also want to win for myself. Because I want to push my family. I want to give them everything. I'm not saying like I had the best life or I had the easiest life or the hard life, but we all have our challenges. And it's like, I want to be able to give back to both my parents and my brothers. And it's like, look, regardless of what we went through, there's still joy in the future. Because one of the things I found gratitude was finding joy in the present, with the other things, like I said, what I'm gratitude for. But to win for myself is different. So anyone looking to join my team, I say I would love to find for you guys to learn why you want to win for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are the only one living your shoes day in and day out, getting out of bed, doing what you need to move closer to your goals and dreams, or even living within yourself, which is why when I'm on my journey of finding alignment, I wasn't like that before. It was like I was living for others. So once you learn how to live for yourself, but be able to contribute to those that are around you that helped you along the journey, that's what I'm really for. So if you want to be able to find your capacity, find your who am I? Like what can I reach? It's just, that's what I'm for. When I do become a broker, my team name is Will to Live Financial Services. And the reason why I chose Will to Live, because will is an action word, and to live, It's like, to live, what do you mean? We're all living. No, we're living unconsciously, but when you live consciously, that's a different story. That's where you're playing real ball, and that's where I'm at right now. I'm learning how to find that alignment to be able to be conscious and go out and win for myself, but as much as for my family and for my team, really, to show them, look, I'm willing to put my give it my all day in and day out for you guys, to show that, like I said, if I can do it, you guys can do it. If not, you guys can do it 20 times better, and I'll support you along the way. It's just, at the end of the day, my thing is, every day is a testament we get to live, and it's up to us to continue writing how we want to write it.
Oh my God, wonderful. I think that's a beautiful message, and absolutely, that's an answer that you have to know. Is why.
Mm-hmm.
Why? So, absolutely, viewers, you know it. There is your advice, and if you want to reach out to Mr. Matthew Hall, he is going to tell you now how the viewers can get in contact with you.
So either through Facebook or Instagram. It's same thing as my name on Instagram, which is 2 periods in between Jordan, or sorry, between Matthew and Hall. So in between, and that's how you're able to find me on Instagram, on Facebook, right here.
Absolutely wonderful. And of course, people, we will have those links to Facebook and Instagram pinned in the comment section just after the video, and also in the description of the YouTube video, which will be uploaded later on tonight. So thank you so much, Matthew, again for coming and doing this interview. I really, really enjoyed this. I knew that you would come in with a fire, really kill it. I think that people are going to get a lot of insight and value from your interview. And I just want to thank you again for coming on. Any closing statements before we get out of here?
Mainly, it's thank you to you for having me on here and allowing me to speak my story, and allowing me to tell my journey so far that I've had, and to be able to tell the viewers. And I do agree, I really do hope there was something said inside this interview that either clicked for you, or be able to take away from how you can implement on your life, because at the end of the day, we're all capable of infinity. It's just a matter if we want to go out and decide to do so. So thank you again for allowing me to be here and allowing me to tell my story. I appreciate you so much.
Oh man, thank you. I appreciate you too. Man, these interviews have been powerful. I've met so many people in the agency and in our team, and really gotten to know them and their story. And I'm so excited, and I know that, man, I'm expecting great things from you, man. I know you're gonna probably be a millionaire before 30 for sure. Like, I'm expecting that. Like, I can see it already, man. You're definitely gonna do big things. And so I'm excited to be able to say, oh yeah, I did an interview with him when he was 21. I told him he was gonna be there one day. So awesome, and I'm hoping that, we'll have a lot of people that watch this interview there with us. So thank you, Matthew, and everyone, all of our viewers, for tuning in tonight. Watch replays of this interview and others at Black Balance Fitness TV on YouTube. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, stay physically, mentally, and spiritually fit. Have a good night.